Hello everyone, I'm tribalkai and welcome to the EDH channel.
This video is dedicated to Casey McClara.
If you'd like to support the channel as well, then you can visit Patreon and donate with the link in the description below. Failing that, a like, comment and subscribe is always appreciated. Now, let's have a look at everyone's opening hands. Voltaic Key from Alrund to start things off. And we just draw into a Reliquary Tower. We only need one island for that, so let's just throw down an island. And we'll get down the bird next turn most likely. And then a Felwar Stone from Go-Go. And it's round to our turn. Okay, and just a land for us. I don't think we're going to have the best of luck here. It's funny, I was talking to Greedo in the Discord and he was telling me that I need to stop being so land flooded in games and proving him right here. So we'll just go for our commander in the form of Haka, Whispering Raven. That's really weird, and just as I say that, a crow is cawing outside. A Swiftfoot Boots has come down from Greedo for the Selvala. And the second mono blue commander of the game, Alrund coming into play, and round to our turn we'll draw into another land. Oh, actually a Lightning Greaves, that's not terrible. Let's get down the Castle Vantress before we are forced to discard that. And then we'll go in at Go-Go, and because we hit, it bounces back to our hand and we will scry 2. Alright, Thieving Skydiver, I don't mind that. There is yet another land which can go on the bottom. But we'll draw into the Thieving Skydiver, that's fine. So let's go for a Foretell onto Saw It Coming. And then Fertile Footsteps, and he'll be able to go for Beanstalk Giant for 7 mana later on. Power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control, just getting a forest into play with it this time. And there is Selvala, Heart of the Wilds coming down. Not getting a Swiftfoot Boots onto there, unfortunately. Then Foundry Inspector for the Artifacts player. And I think they should have, they would have gotten a card draw off of that because Selvala cares about the highest power in play, which is currently the Foundry Inspector. And then a 1-mana Mannequin coming into play. So plenty of artifact creatures in play for Alrund. And there is the Thieving Skydiver for us. I don't think we're going to take anything yet. Let's just do some setting up with the Prowler's Helm and the Lightning Greaves, I think. Mentor of the Meat coming down for the Celestia player. Garruk's Uprising. And the Swiftfoot Boots going on to the Selvala. And now the Foundry Inspector being sacrificed by Alrund. And he's getting himself into a mere turbine, so luckily it's not a Nevermail's Disc or anything like that. And then going for another sacrifice with Alrund during his turn, this time getting rid of a mere token. And going for the 1000-year Elixir so we can untap the Alrund. And then going after sacrificing the Mannequin. And grabbing himself Unwinding Clock so we can do all of this crazy stuff on each turn. I'm not actually sure how he... Oh, I think he used the Voltaic Key to untap the 1000-year Elixir. In the next few turns we might have to go Thieving Skydiver onto this, unfortunately. Although we've got some green and a white player in play, so they should be able to get rid of the artifacts, hopefully. Anyway, Alrund going for a third run round. And this time it is Throne of Empires. So trying to assemble the Throne cycle of cards. There is a Scepter and a Crown, and I can't even remember what they do. It's been years since I played against those. Another land for us, because why not? So maybe we just go Alrund here then. We'll go for the Alrund and we'll put the Lightning Greaves on it and we'll try and get some card advantage out of that. I'll probably just name Artifact because we would like to get some ramp going. That is a 6/6, so we will draw a card with the Selvala. And alright, some Simulacrum, that is some card advantage at least. Let's put the Greaves on here, creating a Mere token. So we'll swing in at the blue player because we want to force them to block with that Mere token. It's just one less thing that they can do with the Arkham Dagson, although it's all going to get untapped anyway. Alright, so now going for untapping the 1000-year elixir onto the Arkham Dagson and sacrificing that Mere straight away. Maybe it's Spine of Ishtar or something like that, trying to get rid of our Alrund. Nope, it is Crown of Empires, and then creating a token with the Throne of Empires. So they still have a creature to block with here. We are obviously going to go through to Go-Go, and they do chump block with the Soldier. Then let's name Artifact here, because like I said, I do want to try and get into some ramp. And we revealed a Blue Sun Zenith. That would have been a dead card anyway. 4C would have been nice, but yeah, I just like the idea of getting into Sensei's top. Then we can actually see what's on top of our library with our commander. And Zendikar Royal coming down from the Celestia player, and just a bunch more stuff going on from the Arkham Dagson. And the cycle has been completed already. Scepter of Empires. So they get a bunch of soldier tokens here every time they tap this thing down. And a land's been made over here for a single 2/2 with trample. A bunch of soldiers and Meres and things been made again. It's all just the usual stuff that we've all seen already. Let's go through these actually while he's doing all this. 1 tap, create a soldier token. You create 5 of those if you control the crown and the scepter as well. And then this is tap a target creature. Gain control of the creature instead if you control the scepter and the throne. And then this one is 1 damage to a player or planeswalker, 3 instead if you control the other 2. So there's damage, gain control, and a bunch of soldier tokens. Yeah, there is the Spine of Ishtar, and that goes on to our Lightning Greaves, probably because they want to take control of Alrund. And they went for the 3 damage onto something, I assume that was Greedo. And then sacrificing the Mere with the Arkham Dagson, that is a Sculpting Steel, and getting themselves a Throne of Empires. So thankfully not another version of the Unwinding Clock. And then all these tokens go in towards Billy Kills. And he just chumps a couple of those, so 8 will remain and go through. Okay, so it has to be Thieving Skydiver here, really, doesn't it? We're going to put 4 mana into X. The Mere Turbine already being activated. And then untapping the Arkham Dagson, all of this going on during our upkeep. And then I think that's the one that gains control of it. Yep, taking our commander away from us. And then making some tokens as well. 3 damage onto Greedo again. Alright, and now we can actually start our turn, hopefully. Now we get into the artifacts. Drop an island. We do have the mana doubler in here, High Tide. So we do care how many islands we get into play. Let's go Thieving Skydiver, where X is 4 on the kicker. And we will take the Unwinding Clock away. So it doesn't take away all the cool stuff that they've got going on with Arkham Dagson here, but it does mean that they can only do it all during their own turn, as opposed to doing it during the 3 other players' turns as well. Which is huge, because it's kind of like they're getting extra turns between each of their opponent's turns. And there is an Aura Shard, excellent, so looks like Go-Go has made a massive threat out of himself. Don't think I've ever been as happy to see an Aura Shards. Roiling Regrowth will get a couple of lands into play, which will trigger the Zendikar's Royal, which will trigger the Aura Shards, and taking the Crown of Empires away. So that not only breaks the cycle, but it also stops them from stealing creatures away. And Terra Stomper now for the mono green player will be the biggest creature in play, I think. How big is our Alrund? Alrund is a 5/5 now, so drawing a card from the commander. And they would have drawn a card from the Garruk's Uprising as well. So now we'll see what Gogo can do, now that he's been hampered a little bit. A duplicant coming into play to exile a creature. And exiling the Mentor of the Meek. And then Arkham Dagson sacrifices the duplicant and grabs himself a Dark Steel Forge. I don't know if I've got a means of bouncing this, but I mean, we're a ways away from stealing a Dark Steel Forge with it anyway. Really going to rely on particularly the white player to exile that. And then the thrones are being activated to make more soldier tokens. Yeah, so that was a much less oppressive turn there. These are swinging in, and it is all the tokens going in at the token player. We are being hit by our own commander, which is a 5/5. We'll take the damage on that. We do still take commander damage, even though it's our commander. And just a bunch of chump blocks being made on the 1/1s. And then I'm not sure if he got some card advantage there from our commander. But anyway, we'll try and draw into something half decent here. Just another land, so let's see here. Can we hold up counter magic? Yeah, we can go for the Thought Vessel and the Solemn Simulacrum. And then we will just hold up the Foretold card, which can counter any spell for only 2 mana. Just hold back the Thieving Skydiver as well. We'll actually be able to make a little bit of mana from the Thought Vessel because it will untap with Unwinding Clock. Myria Angel for even more landfall tokens, which is not good with Aura Shards. We want Gogo to be dealt with, and then we want to be seeing the back of Aura Shards, really. Not that there's anything we can do in a blue deck, but all of the artifacts are obviously indestructible with the Darksteel Forge, so instead going after Garruk's Uprising. And Prav of the Steel Legion, as long as it's your turn, creature tokens you control get +1/+4. And so the Aura Shards now going on to the Prowler's Realm. I have a feeling that this is going to be another really long one. Selvala being tapped for a heap of mana. 1 mana put into that, and then you get 8 from it, thanks to the big power of the Terra Stomper. Oh, and then Return of the Wild Speaker, that's good. So, desperately trying to get into some form of an answer. Draw a further 8 cards, with 6 in hand already. Tempted to counter that, but just for the sake of progressing the game, we will see a bunch of lands come into play here. And now a Naturalize. Wow, a Naturalize going on to the Zendikar's Royal instead of the Aura Shards. That's curious. Alright, well, going on to the Zendikar's Royal. I'm guessing that Greedo doesn't have a lot of artifacts and enchantments in his hand. Mirage Mirror hit in play now until the end of the turn. It becomes a copy of an artifact, creature, enchantment or land for 2 mana, and a Hedron Crawler as well. And then going for the untap onto Arkham. Yeah, we're going to say before it's been tapped down, so in response to their own trigger, tapping down the Arkham Dagson, sacrificing the creature they just played. They have grabbed themselves a Clock of Omens to untap an artifact, and now Mirage Mirror is becoming a copy of something. Okay, they made it a copy of itself, so I'm guessing they misclicked there, unless there's some kind of thing you can do with that I'm not aware of. Okay, activating it again, and this time making it a copy of Solemn Simulacrum. So I'm guessing they're going to sacrifice it to draw a card. Now the Arkham Dagson will untap. And they're tapping down some creatures, including what is now a Solemn, to untap the Elixir. And they've got 1 mana floating to put into that. So sacrificing the Solemn Simulacrum to the Arkham Dagson. And then untapping their Arkham Dagson with the Elixir, no more mana in their mana pool. Okay, and now they are making us sacrifice our Solemn Simulacrum, so we will definitely use Arkham Dagson's ability. This is where the group hug side of Gogo comes out, clearly. So as much as I'd like to go for some kind of mana doubler, we actually don't have anything in hand to do with it, so let's go for Sensei's Top. And we can actually filter some draws, hopefully. Now that our opponent is tapped out, I don't think we need to hold up the counter magic anymore, so let's spin the top before we draw with the Solemn. Alright, Toothy and Gilded Lotus. Yeah, I think we can draw into Toothy. And then Go-Go will draw from his Solemn. And before the end of the turn, we'll spin the top again because we get to look at another card. Another mana coming down in the form of an island. And there is the Clock of Omens again, tapping down artifacts to untap the Gilded Lotus. And now they've got 4 mana. Going for the Voltaic Key. And then the Voltaic Key can take them down to 3 mana, and they go to untap the Gilded Lotus. I don't think they've quite got infinite here, but they've got a means of making lots of mana. Oh good, a Chaos Wand. Those of you who are EDH Lounge fans, Jolt had a mono blue deck that was a Chaos Wand deck, and yeah, that game went on for a very, very long time. Alright, and there is an Austere command owned by Billy Kills. I mean, how lucky is that from the Chaos Wand? So destroy all artifacts and enchantments. I mean, it gets rid of the aura shards at least. We don't lose too much, to be honest. There's a Thought Vessel. We'll spin with the top before we go for Sensei's Divining Top. Let's go for 4C on top in that instance. Draw into the 4C and we'll put Sensei's Top on top of our library. Now that does put the Unwinding Clock back in the bin, so I'm assuming that they can dig it out of their graveyard somehow, doing more tap and untap stuff. Yeah, just using the last piece of mana to get another soldier with Throne of Empires. And now it's through to attacks. We are getting attacked by our own commander, which is still a 5/5. And all the soldiers continuing to go in at Billy Kills. Yeah, I'm just going to take another hit from our commander. We may be able to bounce the Thieving Skydiver. Anyway, a bunch of chump blocks going again. Then they're at 4 cards when Alrund goes on the stack. And they went up to 5 cards there, so what did they name? They chose Artifact for that, so there is Myriad Landscape revealed, and they got Mystic Forge, which is the last thing we want to see. So they've got a Mystic Forge in hand now. We draw into the Sensei's Top. Let's go for an island. We'll get down the Toothy. And then we could point the Toothy at either of the green players just in case they have Pier, but let's just point it at ourselves. We know that there's a land on top, so I'm actually going to shuffle. So we will search for Pier in our mono blue deck. Just for the sake of shuffling things around. And then we'll play the Sensei's Top just so that we can hold up counter magic for the spell that is incoming over here in Mystic Forge. And then we can also spin Sensei's Top a few times as well if we want to. But yeah, this is the idea of our deck as we're starting to see in 4C and Toothy. We want to draw a heap of cards and make our commander really big. And then make use of unblockable and things like that to hit lethal on our opponents. So it is a little bit of a Voltron deck in that regard. Unfortunately, didn't keep the best hand, and we haven't had incredible draws so far. Now Beast Within going on to our commander, thank you very much. Another token generator in Retreat to Emeria. That will make 1/1 core allies, and it will buff all of your creatures on landfall if you want it to. Greedo adding mana from the Terror Stomper again. And then a Wolfbriar Elemental kicked 18 times. So it's back round to the mono blue player's turn now, and it's just all the usual. Voltaic Key has untapped the Gilded Lotus. Looks like they're just going for a bunch of casts with the Lotus Wand at this point, or the Chaos Wand even. Targeting Greedo this time. Oh, and that is Rishkar's Expertise. What is the biggest creature they've got in play? They've got the Arkham Dagson. The problem is they can get the Mystic Forge into play for free with that. I think we just have to let them go for Rishkar's Expertise and hope that they don't get the Mystic Forge into play with it. I'd rather they just hard cast that so that I can counter it, obviously. I don't know if they actually played anything, to be honest. You may cast a spell with CMC 5 or less without paying the cost. They should have been able to do that, and I don't think they did. Alright, well, untapping stuff. Going for Chaos Wand onto us this time. Exiles cards from the top of the library until it's an instant or sorcery. Let's see if we can give them something useless with the Sensei's top. Yeah, you can have the Blue Sun Zenith, that's alright. Not sure I want the Fire Shrieker, so let's get rid of all 3 of these cards. We'll go Blue Sun Zenith and then the other 2 on top of that. Actually giving us some nice card filter in there. So they go for the Blue Sun Zenith. I'm pretty sure they can't put any mana into that. Yeah, that does remain X is 0. So untapping the Chaos Wand again. And untapping the Gilded Lotus again. And Chaos Wand again. And from Billy Kills, he got Balaged Recovery. Return target card from graveyard to hand. And going for the Unwinding Clock, which is something else that we're going to have to counter instead of the Mystic Forge. So untapping the Gilded Lotus. And going for the Unwinding Clock again, so we will absolutely counter that. And that's ironic because we did see it coming. So with 7 cards in hand, going for the Arcane Signet. And hopefully that's that. So at the end of our turn we will go for the spin on the top. And, alright, Gilded Lotus of our own. Yeah, maybe we go like that. Trailblazer's Boots, and we'll go Gilded Lotus. Draw a card into the Gilded Lotus at the beginning of our turn. We'll trigger the Toothy. So let's drop Reliquary Tower to get an infinite hand size again. And we will go 5 mana into the Gilded Lotus. And then we'll go for a 4C. Which is scry 4 and draw 2. Alright, pull from Tomorrow and Mystical Tutor, I don't mind, so let's put that on the bottom. Might regret getting rid of Trailblazer's Boots, but I think I want to refill my hand before we even look at our commander. And that bumps Toothy up to a 4-4. So maybe Mystical Tutor in for a High Tide into pull from Tomorrow. Maybe that's what our aim is currently. Let's just pass the turn here. Noteworthy that we could do that at instant speed as well, although I'd probably rather not. Reese the Redeemed coming down for the token player. And then a Collective Blessing. Creatures you control get +3/+3. So now Billy Kills going through to combat, has a bunch of 6 power creatures, one of which is in the air. Not attacking though, surprisingly. I think we should all be in agreement that it's Go-Go that we need to take out here, so I think it would be fairly safe to swing in with at least the flyer. But wants to hold it back, obviously. Hopefully these wolves don't sit back as well. So Vala's Stampede coming from Greedo here. Starting with you, each player votes wild or free. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature for each wild vote and put those onto the battlefield. You may put a permanent from hand onto the battlefield for each free vote. Alright, so Greedo went for wild, and then there's a free vote coming from Go-Go. Yeah, I think we should all vote free, because he can't have that many permanents in hand that he wants to cheat in, so let's go free. And the fact that Greedo voted for wild suggests that he wants to try his luck with his library. Billy Kills going for free as well. Oof, so getting into Archetype of Endurance. So we've got a bunch of indestructible permanents over here, and we've got a bunch of hexproof permanents here. And landing himself, oh, he did have some really good permanents in hand though. A Pathraiser Ulamog, Rampaging Baloths, and Spearbreaker Behemoth. Indestructible, and you can give a big creature indestructible for a single mana. Then playing a land triggers the Rampaging Baloths. And Shamanic Revelation. Argument to be made for us going for Counterspell onto that. We could go Mystical Tutor, put it on top and draw it with Sensei's top, but I'm quite happy for people to start getting knocked out of the game at this point. 28 cards in hand. And up to 52 life. And an overwhelming Stampede. Can they just get rid of everyone here? Yeah, probably. And that's a shame, so we'll have to go for the Mystical Tutor here. And let's go for the Mana Drain so that we can steal some mana from them. We'll spin the top before we draw a card. Obviously we want to make sure that Mana Drain is on top. Body of Knowledge. Yeah, that's not going to be good until we get cards in hand, so let's go Body of Knowledge on the bottom, then Confluence, then we'll draw into the Mana Drain. Let's tap and draw. That will put a counter on Toothy as well, because it does class as a draw. Go Drain onto that so they don't one-shot us all. And now, time to see if we get punished for that. A load of these wolves going in at go-go as they should, so we're not just being punished for countering that. And the Terror Stomper coming in at us. So I suppose we could block with the Toothy while we've got the chance. Blocking with all of the soldier tokens here. And we will... I mean, that has trample, so... yeah, we'll just take the hit here, I think. We could draw some cards with Toothy, but I fancy drawing even more with this. So Go-Go staying at 22, but losing all of those soldier tokens finally. Now we make it round to Go-Go's turn, and Bootleg had to discard a bunch of cards there. And yeah, I dread to think what Go-Go is going to do throughout this turn. Thought Vessel for Go-Go. Alright, and then just going through to our turn, so holding up a bunch of stuff. We draw into the Sensei's top that we put on top previously. We'll get 5 mana from the spell that we countered. So why don't we go Sensei's top first of all, just in case we can get ourselves into a counter spell with that. Then we'll get down our commander. And then I really don't want to go for Pull from Tomorrow when the blue player has mana held up. We've done very little this game as it is, and I don't just want to play into more counter magic. Let's just use this piece of mana to spin the top. Okay, it's just a land on top, so we'll put the Mystic Confluence on top, I think. Go Body of Knowledge, then the Island, then the Confluence, just in case we're desperate, but we're probably aiming for Pull from Tomorrow. And I don't think there's anything Go-Go can do to get rid of Toothy, although not really bothered if they get rid of Toothy anyway, are we? Because we'll draw a bunch of cards, so let's actually try and get some damage through over there. And then at the end of the turn we'll... oh, we can actually name Instant, can't we? Yeah, let's name Instant to get the counter spell into our hand. Maya, Guard Protector, coming down for the first time. And kills, continuing to hold back over there. Probably for fear of the overrun that is likely to occur here. Patron of Orochi. Untap all forests and all green creatures. Activate this ability only once each turn. Untapping all of their creatures. I'm not sure what that does. Noteworthy that I don't think counter magic's been held up over here because the priority went to us pretty quickly. Yeah, I think that's okay. And then Bellowing Tangleworm to give creatures Intimidate. The Mystic Confluence, they're going to have to pay 9 into that, which they can afford. We could just bounce our Toothy back with Mystic Confluence and draw a couple of cards. I think that's the thing to do here. So we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed. So draw into Body of Knowledge. And then the Toothy triggers. And we don't get into a counter spell, so we're going to have to see if we've got one on top. I don't think we're very counter magic heavy, to be honest, because like I've said, I didn't want the games lasting too long and just us countering everything. And there we are, nothing on top there either. So we'll just leave that on top. And it looks like the game might be ending here. Eventually got to see a little bit of something of what we want to do at least. Our commander is now a 10-10, and we could make it unblockable with Thassa. Give it double strike with the equipment that we've got in the deck, Fire Shrieker I think it's called. Yeah, this is more like the type of thing we want to do. Okay, Avenger of Zendikar. I think the Pathrazor is going towards Billy Kills, so that's Annihilator 3. And yeah, still can't show you who's attacking where. I think it's a bunch of tokens going in at Go-Go, and then we might have lethal on us, but I think the damage has been spread between myself and Billy Kills. So this is where Go-Go starts to do all the shenanigans with Arkham Dagson. Go-Go is just going after a bunch of tap and untap effects on the Gilded Lotus here. And then going for Chaos Wand onto Billy Kills. Probably in an attempt to get a board wipe. gets a Path to Exile instead, which can't be used on any of this stuff because it is all hexproof. Alright, that's interesting. So they are targeting their own Arkham Dagson. With that on the stack, I imagine they'll do some more stuff. Untapping the Chaos Wand. Activating Chaos Wand again on Billy Kills. This time it is a Generous Gift. And Generous Gift, they target their own indestructible Darksteel Forge just to get themselves into a creature token. And then Chaos Wand, yet again. And getting into a 3 visits, which won't do them much good in a mono blue deck. They could use it to shuffle if they're desperate though. And now they've got 5 lands available to them, untapping the Chaos Wand. And they don't have any untapped artifacts now, so I think this is their last chance. Going after Billy Kills again. And this time grabbing his second harvest, which they don't have any tokens, so that won't do them any good. The Arkham Dagson goes into the command zone, and now Annihilator will finally resolve. And it looks like Kills is getting rid of a couple of lands. Yeah, just getting rid of 3 forests there from the Annihilator. So let's see who goes down here, because I'm not sure who's been attacked by what. A bunch of blocks coming from Kills here. I think he's just working through what he can block and what he can't. Alright, so 3 creatures blocking the Pathraiser Ulamog, because you have to block the Pathraiser with 3 or more creatures. If you want to block it at all, that is. And then I think it's just a bunch of wolves being blocked. There we go, we get taken down. Go-Go is down to 0 exactly. And we are down to -2. Billy Kills down to 13, so now it's a case of who can win between these two. Okay, I'm guessing Kills might not have anything, he's just turning everything in sideways here. Has a couple of flyers in play in the form of the 7/7 and the 6/9 bird. And a bunch of plants blocking here. So Greedo ends combat at 39 points of life, and it looks like it is his to win at this point. Unless Kills decides that he can wipe the board. Going for some kind of Convoke spell here, I think. Yeah, Hour of Reckoning. Destroy all non-token creatures. But unfortunately for him, there are tokens in play. The plants can't get buffed now at least, but yeah, I think the wolves were always going to be able to go wide there. So Greedo just respectfully going into the red zone, and that should be that, I think. And there we are. Good game to Greedo. Congratulations for winning that one. Good game to Billy Kills and Go-Go as well. Big thank you to them for playing. Didn't see too much from Alrund. Haven't had the best of luck recently. But that game was what it was. So hopefully some of you got some enjoyment from that. And be sure to let me know if you want me to attempt Alrund again. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.